So hello again and warm welcome to today's webinar as well as to the spring campaign of the year 2023. I'm very happy to see all of you, to have many new people and have many people that have been participating in the past. So in this webinar, we will go through the campaign activities, the plans, the tools that we have for you. We will really go step by step to share it mainly with those of you who are new to the campaign, so you know what to expect in the campaign, what will come, and how to do the measurements. So I hope it will be interesting also for those of you who have participated in the campaign in the past. So you perhaps will refresh some ideas and some information. The whole campaign is organized by Europe and Eurasia Region Coordination Office of the GLOBE program, which is where I work. And my name is Lenka Kleger, and we will be in touch over the whole campaign. I will be sharing the newsletters with you and communicating with you during the activities. And I'm here also with my colleague Bára Semeráková. So,
hello, everybody.
Yeah, Bára will tell you in the second part of today's webinar about the carbon activities that we have prepared for you in the campaign. Also, I would really like to introduce Brian Campbell, the lead of Trees Around the Globe campaign. Brian is from NASA, and he's a great support to our campaign. So thanks,
Hi,
Brian,
everyone.
for joining.
Greetings from the United States.
Hi. Okay, so the webinar will have two parts. In the first part, I will introduce the campaign schedule and the activities. Then we will have time to have questions about this part. And in the second part, Bára will talk about the carbon activities. And I don't know, are there any questions about the plan? We will stay together about an hour, I think maximum 1 hour. And if there are no questions now, I don't see anything in the chat. Then I think I can start with talking about the activities for greening up. I hope you can see my presentation. Bára, can you give me a sign?
Yes, I can see it.
Not on the first slide, but it's not responding currently, so never mind. It was just an overview slide, so we can start talking from here. First, in my presentation, I would like to give you a quick overview of when the campaign will run and what are the aims. So we are basically starting now with the campaign, or any time when your trees will start waking up from the winter sleep, and we will continue the activities until early June, or again anytime when your leaves will be fully grown and your activities will be done. The registration is open by February 20th, so perhaps you have already registered, but if not, please do it by this date. What can you expect, or what we hope that the campaign will bring you? First, we would like to help you to explore trees and the way how they change in the spring when they are waking up. But not only the trees, but also learn a bit about the place where they grow and how they are influenced by the conditions at that place, and how they also influence back the place where they grow. We hope these activities will allow you to spend some meaningful time outdoors with your students, and that you will also enjoy sharing and cooperation within your team, in your school, or with other schools in your country or even abroad. Last but not least, you will collect some data over the spring while observing your trees, which can be a great source of information for your own project in your school, but these are also valuable source also for scientists in NASA or even in universities in Europe. So I think it's important to know that the data that you collect and share over the GLOBE database are used not only by you, but also by other schools and by scientists. So let's see if my presentation. Okay. So during the campaign, you can expect from us several activities. The core of the campaign is observing greening up of trees. So we have for you 5 short activities that will guide you through the process step by step. And I will talk about them very soon in detail. We also have different activities about the role of trees in carbon cycle, about measuring a tree height, and about the way how trees relate to urban heat island. These are all like a addition to the core greening up observations. This is something that you can do, but you don't have to. If you have time, if you feel like learning more about your tree, you can of course do these activities, and you're very welcome to do so. In general, all the activities are voluntary, so no problem if you can't really manage any of the activities. And we will be really happy if you let us know how your observation go. If it goes well, or even if it does not go well, please let us know, write us. We will try to help you to get over the troubles. We will communicate with you regularly through the newsletter, also at the Globe website, at the discussion forum, and we will have 2 more webinars during the spring campaign. For the schools that will be active in the campaign, we have prepared a certificate and then badges. We have 2 different badges. One is for collaboration, which will be the schools that will share their results will be awarded with this badge. And the other one is for data entry. So this is for schools who will enter their data into the Globe database. And now let's go together through the green up activities. So as I have mentioned, we have 5 activities that will guide you step by step from choosing a tree through the observation to working with the data. And I will tell you a bit more about each of them. So the first activity that maybe some of you have already seen this activity. It's quite a quick one. So in this activity, we ask you to find a tree that you will observe during the whole campaign. What is very important about choosing your tree is that the tree is close to your school, close to the place where you teach or work with the kids. This is because you will visit this tree very often during the spring, so it needs to be easily reachable by your team. The tree also needs to have 1 branch low enough so that you can reach it, really touch it by hand. And the tree should not be shaded, watered, fertilized, or in other way maintained by human, because these activities they change the speed or the way how the leaves are growing. So if you have a tree that is, for example, being watered, you can still choose such a tree, but please let us know about it. Write it when sharing your data. Let us know. It is recommended to choose one of the campaign species that you can see here. It's sour cherry, lime, hazel, oak, birch, beech, or a fig tree. If you choose one of them, it will make it easier for you to compare your data, because these are the most common trees, the trees that are most commonly observed by the campaign schools. But if you feel like, if you have any other tree nearby that you want to observe, you can do it as well. So you will choose your tree, then we will ask you to describe where it grows, so to take GPS coordinates, find out which tree species it is, and then name it so that you can easily describe it, and then take a first pictures of your tree, and if possible also share it at the discussion forum with the other campaign schools. And that's it. That's the activity 1. It's just 1 visit of your tree. Once you have chosen your tree, then comes the time for the activity 2, which is called look at the buds. So you will need to again visit your tree and keep visiting it regularly, at least 2 times a week, to see when the buds will change and when they will burst open. So when you come to your tree, you will need to choose a branch and assign 4 buds on it, starting from the tip of your branch. So it's like 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can mark them with a ribbon or use a permanent marker, for example, to mark them so that you can whenever you visit your tree, you can always find the same branch and the same 4 buds. After that, you will record your observation into the data sheet, which you can see here, a print screen. So every time you visit your tree, you will write down the date, and for each of your 4 leaves, you will write if it's dormant, which means the bud is not changing, the tree is still asleep, nothing happens. Then if the bud is swelling, which means the bud starts getting bigger, starts growing. And then the most important date is bud burst. So you will write down the first date when you see that your bud is a little open and you see a tip of a green leaf, you will write bud burst into your data sheet. Also, if you have the opportunity to record temperature and precipitation data, it's a very good opportunity for you to see how it influences the bud bursts, because it's really closely related. The temperature of the site and the the amount of rainfall really strongly influence the speed of bud burst and leaf growth. So it can be a nice project with your students to compare this data. Okay, so here you have a picture examples how can you mark your branch and your bud. So you can use a ribbon, you can use a little dots to not to miss your branch and buds. The next activity starts when the buds burst open, and when you see the tips of the green leaves, you will start measuring the length of the leaf that grows from each bud. Again, you will use the data sheet and you will record a date of the measurement or of the observation, and for each leaf, the length of the leaf. So you can see here example how the leaf is being measured. You measure only the leaf, not the stem. So like this, not the stem is not included in your measurements. And again, it's ideal if you continue measuring at least twice a week until the leaves stop growing. So until 2 times in a row, you have the same result of your measurement. And that will be it. That will be the last step of visiting your tree, measuring your leaves. And it will be time to start working with the data. So you will need the data that you collected during the first 3 activities and an access to the GLOBE program account. If you do not have a GLOBE account yet, then please contact your country coordinator who will help you to proceed with it. So in this activity, in the 4th activity, we will ask you to enter your data into the GLOBE database. And after that, you will be able to see them in a visualization tool in a map like this. You will have your own colorful dot, and you will be able to make a nice graph out of them to see how fast your leaves grew. You will be also able to compare your data either to your data from the previous measurements or to any other school that has entered the data into the database. I will not go into the details about this because we have prepared for you a guide for working with the data, so you will receive it from us. It's part of the activity 4, and it will really take you step by step through the process of entering data and of visualization tool. So yeah, I think there's no time for us today to do it. The last activity, the 5th one, is more for you to enjoy be outside in the nature. And in this activity, we ask you with your students to collect a variety of leaves and create a scale palette just to see how the leaves in nature are different, and yeah, just spend time outdoors. I have already mentioned previously that you will be asked to take pictures with Grow Up. Grow Up is a very easy mobile phone application, which is available both for Android and for iPhone. And with this application, you just simply take pictures. And if you take pictures continuously during your observation, the application will create a beautiful time-lapse video. So at the end of spring, you will be able to see a little video of your tree, how it is changing it was changing over the spring. And it's really popular for the students. We have very good feedback from students on this. So I hope your students will like it as well. And on top of it, this application also helps to scientists because it was developed by Wageningen University in the Netherlands. And the scientists in the university also use the picture. They can, from the picture, they can see comparison between years and see how the timing of bud burst and leaf growth is changing over the years. So this is Grow Up. And I've been talking about all the green up activities, but I would really shortly like to mention the activity which is focused on the height of the tree. So this is, I think, something that's very easy and quick and nice to do. And you can do it anytime that you visit your tree. You can, in the activity, you will have a guidance for it. You can use a handmade clinometer, and just like this boy in the picture, use it and measure the height of your tree, or you can use a Globe Observer app application that will guide you through the measurements. And again, students really enjoy working with apps, so I think they might like this option as well. And Brian Campbell, who is with us, is the lead of, as I mentioned, is the lead of trees campaign, and he has a lot of information on it in his campaign. So if you would like to learn more about tree height, you can always contact him and join some webinar in the trees campaign. One more thing that I would like to point out is the discussion forum of the campaign, which is the place where we ask you, and we will be happy if you share your pictures and results. Again, you will need your Globe account to be able to do that. And if you have a Globe account, it's very easy. You just sign into your account. You go to the Phenology campaign website where you will see a news and discussion tab. And there you will find different categories. So one of them is called 2023 spring. You create a new thread and you just write your message and add pictures. It's very easy, and by that way you can show to everyone how your activities are going. We also offer the possibility to join so-called collaboration group, which is optional. It's some additional activity. You can be paired with a group of 2 or maximum 4 schools, and you will exchange your contact. We will help you to be matched. We will help you to exchange contact, and then you can cooperate as in the way that you want. You can exchange your data. You can plan a project together. You can do the measurements on the same day to see if it differs or not. And of course, you can practice English together. You can exchange some cultural information about the trees. It's completely up to you, but it's a great opportunity to meet students and teachers from other countries or from other schools in your country. During the campaign, we have planned for you 2 more webinars. The next one will be organized on March 30 at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And this webinar will be focused on activities raising our children's sensitivity to trees. So you will learn about the short activities that you can do with your students when visiting your tree, and by raising the sensitivity of your kids to nature and to trees, it will be more natural, more easy for them than to learn about the facts in the campaign. The second webinar will be on the last day of May, a bit earlier at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And this webinar will be focused on sharing. So it will be time for you to present what you have done during the campaign, for your students to talk about it, and just to share the experience and inspiration among the schools. So we will also send you invitation during the spring, and we will be very happy to meet you at these webinars. And that's all about the plans of the campaign and about the Green Up activities. You will find all the information at the GLOBE website, at the European Phenology campaign site. And of course, if you need to know anything, you can always contact me at my email. So thank you for attention. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have now. Yeah, I see in the chat already a link to the Trees Around the Globe campaign, so it's good to have a look there as well. Yeah, please feel free to write into the chat or unmute your microphone and just talk if there's anything that's not clear, or perhaps for those who have been in the campaign in the past, if you have any addition, any tips that could be practical for your colleagues, don't hesitate to share them as well. Okay, so no questions, so maybe it was so informative that there's no...
Everything was great, so clear, Ariel, and I understood everything. So if I understood everything, so did everyone.
Okay, thanks a lot. Yeah, I can see Marina raising hand.
Can you say some words? Yeah. I can't forget our collaboration about your last project with cloud observation, and also about the water body challenges. It was really unforgettable emotions, and I hope that our next 3-4 months will be full of surprises for our students. Thank you. It's a good platform for all the world, all students, all teachers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marina. Yeah, I hope the students will enjoy it, and
Yeah.
we really look forward to hearing from you how it goes. Thank you. Okay, well, no more questions, then I give word to Bara, and there will be time for more questions at the end, so if you need anything.
Okay, thank you, Lenka. There is still the chat that you can use for the questions, for any question you may have or any remark that you may have. And what I would like to do now, I would like to start with a question, because my part is to talk about the carbon cycle connections to the phenology activities that Lenka introduced, the activities for students. And I would like to ask you first why we are connecting, phenology and the trees to carbon cycle. You may say carbon, it's all about chemistry, perhaps. So where is the connection? Any idea? You can either say it loud or have it in the chat if you want. Yeah, anyone?
In photosynthesis.
Yeah, that's the key. Yeah, that's the key word, the photosynthesis, and the wonderful process that the trees are, not only trees, but all the vegetation is very special about. we cannot do that, right? As humans, we cannot do photosynthesis. They can. So that's actually the basic question. And the answer for my question is the photosynthesis. And as you can see, Lenka was introducing mainly the activities that you can do outdoors. But even if the weather is not that great, or you don't have, opportunity to go outdoors every day, for example, you can still do some activities in the classroom and perhaps, follow up with going outdoors later. So I will now introduce those 4 activities which are more about carbon cycle and the trees. And if you have any questions, please, you can stop me anytime. We can discuss anything you need. So let's see how this works for me. I hope you can see the presentation now, and let's move. So yeah, this is the cycle we are talking about. Obviously here there is CO2, which is the most important gas when it comes to the plants, because they really need that for their growth. And as you can see, it's connected to many other parts of our planet or of our environment. And this topic is, I would really recommend this topic to introduce with students, because as you know, it's related to the climate change, to the CO2 levels in the atmosphere. There are so many connections. So only, to introduce the topics that the trees actually have some role to play in all that. It's a wonderful opportunity how to start with that, even during the phenology observations. So let's go right into it. So those are the 4 activities. You can download them from the same website that Lenka was introducing. You can try it right now to find them. There is the QR code, and they are free to download for you or for anybody else. You don't need to be signed in Globe to download those activities. So even if you want to recommend it to, your grandmother, you can still do that. So let's, that's the first question. We already answered that. It's the magic that the plants can do. It's the photosynthesis, and how it works. That's the main focus of the activity number 1, which is called Tree Growth Game. This activity you can do with even like, let's say, smaller kids, not only with kids who are, let's say, 12 and more years old. We know that the teachers, they introduce this activity even to kids who are, let's say, 7, 8, 9 years old, and it's just a game on how the tree grows. So obviously it can be adjusted to the age of the pupils. If you want to talk more about, the chemistry behind that, you can. The game is just like introduction. And you don't need anything special for that, just some colorful paper and colorful pencils and some sheet of paper, poster paper or anything like that. So that's it. And the next question is, where else can you find carbon, like around us? So I'm now sitting in the room. I have my laptop on a wooden table. Yeah, it's full of carbon too. My body, it's made of carbon too, right? So it's everywhere in the air. I am breathing out carbon dioxide when I am talking to you. So that's the connection that we also want to make. That carbon is practically everywhere. And obviously we have a chart like this that shows us the global carbon cycle. But what you can do with your students, you can map the carbon pools and fluxes, the flows between different places, how the carbon actually moves. You can map it around your school. And it's really a wonderful opportunity to to go outdoors, or to, you know, look at the map, for example, and to see like what is the producer of carbon to the air, and what are the places where the carbon gets absorbed. So this is the carbon around us activity. It's number 2. And if I manage, yeah, it can look like this. It can look very simple. It's just a map like that. It can be more sophisticated, obviously, but this is also enough. Our school is in the center, as you can see, and then you have different activities. You have the agriculture there, you have the water cycle, you have the forest, you have some cows that are grazing, factory, cars, trees that have been cut down, and all those things. And it's actually perfect for the students to realize what are the sources of CO2 and at what side of the carbon cycle the trees are. And here you can see that they even made a legend of carbon uptake and carbon release, so that you can easily navigate through this kind of chart. So that's activity number 2. And then we have activity number 3. And that one is focused on a particular one tree. If you imagine that tree that you observe for, you know, greening up, you can imagine that tree. That tree used to be a small sampling, and in many years it will be a mature big tree, or perhaps it is already. And why we are talking about the life of a tree, of a single tree, in relation to carbon cycle, it's because the uptake of the carbon from the air that obviously the tree needs for building the leaves and the trunk and everything for the body, it's heavily dependent on how old is the tree. And the basic thing is, when the tree is growing, it needs more CO2 to grow. The same like when you are a teenager, you need so much food because you are still growing, your bones are developing and everything. And perhaps when person is older, you don't need to eat that much. So it's something similar. It's not the same, but it's something similar. So when the tree is growing, it can intake so much of carbon. And when the tree is already matured and perhaps getting old, it's losing branches, it's getting damaged, then the CO2 is released. So it's about the balance. It's not only like 100% intake or 100% release of carbon to atmosphere, but there is always some kind of balancing, and it's changing during the age of that tree. And you can actually calculate how much carbon is stored in that tree that you observe based on some simplified calculations. If you know what type of tree you have, you observe, and if you know some basic parameters like circumference or the height of the tree, it can give you like a rough calculation or estimate how much carbon there is. So you can, for example, compare different species of trees, or a young tree and an old tree, and make this kind of exercise with the kids too. So that's activity number 3. And yeah, we recommend, if you want to show it as a visualization, you can play this video to the students, or animation, let's say, where the whole cycle of tree life, let's say, is shown, and how the carbon is, you know, going into the tree or leaving the tree. So that's also part of that activity. And if we are going to the last activity, which is slightly more advanced, I would say, that the main question is what time of the year a tree builds the biggest amount of carbon into its biomass. And that's a question for you now. You can just give a, you know, suggestion
In the spring, when
so-
the leaves are growing, the
So-
photosynthesis is in the highest point.
Okay, so there is one suggestion that it's spring. Is there any other suggestion or any other, or you want to, someone wants to elaborate more on that?
Maybe in summer that all of trees are grown and it has a lot of more big process of, for example, absorbing and exhale some gases.
Okay, so we heard two voices. Thank you for that. And yeah, I think both of them are correct. And the biggest uptake of the CO2, the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere by the vegetation, specifically by the forests, is really during the spring and summer, which is obviously connected to the vegetation period, to the time when we can see that green wave, which you actually, with students, you will observe it at that one tree. You will see the bud burst and then the leaves are growing. But the scientists, what they do, they can observe that as on the globe, at the global scale. On the satellites, you can actually see that green wave at the, if we are talking about the northern hemisphere, because we have spring in different time of the year than the southern hemisphere. But when you look at the northern hemisphere, you can see that green wave from the satellite images. And this is what you can also watch with your students. There are some videos or animations that are showing that, how it's changing. And here, what we see on those two charts that you can see here, this is the detailed monitoring of the CO2 level in the air, in the atmosphere. It's from the measurement at Mauna Loa, which is place which is in the middle of the ocean. So there is no, technically, there is no like local, factories or pollution or anything like that. Or
It's
at least
especially in Hawaiian Islands.
Yeah, it's a Hawaiian Islands. And still what you can see at that chart, if we look at the upper one, you can see that every year there is the same pattern, that every year the CO2 level goes up and down. It has a peak up and it has the, let's say, drop down. It's like that, right? And it's going slightly more up because CO2 in the atmosphere, the level is still rising, and that's why we have the trouble with climate change. And but you can see each of that either up or down is every year at the same time. And this is what you can see when you see that the CO2 level is going down. That's the spring or beginning of the summer, because the vegetation of the northern hemisphere, they are literally like breathing in, like sucking out the CO2 from the atmosphere because they need it for the growth. And when they are the opposite, in the autumn, when they are shedding the leaves, the photosynthesis is not active anymore, then the CO2 is not actually, pumped to the trees. So the level of CO2 again goes up, which you can see at the graph at the bottom. So that's the activity number 4. We call it the case of missing carbon, which means the question is where the carbon actually disappears to every year when we see this graph, right? So now we know that it's the trees. And that's actually, when I saw it for the first time, it was really amazing. I could not even believe that the trees have so much of power that they can influence the level of CO2 in the atmosphere at a global level, not only at just one place, when I'm in the forest, but at any place on the earth. So that's, I'm saying it's slightly advanced because you're working with the concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere. So it's perhaps for slightly elder students, but yeah, that's, we really like this activity. And just to show you where the activities are, so when you are at the campaign page, you can go to download materials and you have it there, or you have it right in that homepage too. When you scroll down, they are the spring activities, and the activities are there, both the activities that Lenka showed and those activities that I'm introducing. They are there together as one package. So yeah, activity 1 contains what Lenka was explaining and what I was showing as activity 2. It's together. Yeah, so I think that's it. Thank you so much. Any questions or remarks for the discussion are most welcome.
Hi, I'm Misha here. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just want to know, is it necessary that kids put data in, or can teacher do this instead of them? Because to make sure that everything is correct, or we can do it together, probably as kids. So it can be put on online by me, so by my account, or is it necessary to make account for kids?
Well, you can do it together, of course, through your account. That's if you have a smaller kids, younger students, that may be perhaps the best option to do it together. But you can also create accounts for your students, so they can do it each of them separately, even if they, for example, observe more trees, or they take turns in observing one tree. They can do it each student from his or her account. So both options are fine. It depends what is more convenient for you. And of course, it's probably good to try it for the first time with the students to show them the way. But yeah, then it's up to you. What's the most convenient?
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So any other question?
Maybe the questions will come after the beginning of the process.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Right.
I can see Irena. She wants to say something.
Yeah, I just want to just ask if it is possible to observe more trees in the same time, because we are divided with our into groups, into 4 groups, and we observed trees during the autumn, and we want to prolong this thing during the spring, and to observe the same species as we saw in the autumn.
Mm-hmm.
And so is it possible to put them into the database if there are more tree species?
Yes, for sure. It's possible to observe as many trees or tree species.
Yeah.
As
So
you
every
wish.
group can have her or its own account, and
Yeah.
operate with the mobile phone.
Yeah, I wanted to say that, like, if we are looking at the technical part of that,
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's your question, but the any data that you enter to the database, and it doesn't matter if it's for your tree number 1 or tree number 20, they will be associated with the school. So you will see
Yes.
all the data. It will be there. You will be able to find it. And so there is no problem in that. You can have many trees, as many as you manage to have. It's yeah. You every time when you are starting, kind of you need to enter that tree into the database, so that when you are entering the data, you know which tree it's which one, so that it does not get mixed up. So you need to kind of label the tree, for example, tree behind the school or tree in this street, so that you know exactly, or your students know which tree is which when
Yeah,
they are
or
entering the data.
number of the tree or something
Yes.
like this. Mhm.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, thank you.
Exactly. And there's one little remark on this. It is recommended that when you are, if you continue with the trees that you have been observing in the past, it's completely fine. But if you are now starting with the observation and you are choosing new trees, it is better to create like separate site for each tree, because in the database you first create a site, like the place where you are doing the measurements, and then you are adding the trees. So it is better to have like one site and one tree and another site and another tree. So it doesn't, otherwise it might possibly cause some confusion when seeing the data in the visualization. It's not a problem if you do it more trees in one side, but if you now start, it's better to do it separately.
Yeah, any other question? Those questions are actually great because they are the practical questions.
Yeah, seems not. Yeah, I wanted to just comment, Bara was saying that you will find all the activities on the website, and that you will always find there the activities for green up together with the carbon activities. So at the same list, you will also find the activity for measuring the tree height and for trees and how trees are influencing the temperature in their surroundings. But we will also send you all the activities throughout the campaign. You will receive the newsletter from us. So we will kind of remind you it's about the time to go for another activity if your tree is ready. And another thing, each activity has a deadline. We ask you to finish the activity by some time. So yeah, it's important for the campaign to know when, like, to keep moving on. But of course, if your tree is not, the bud burst didn't happen and it's way over the deadline, there's no problem. The nature is the main leader of the activity, so do not worry about it.
Yeah, and perhaps like if you just say like what is perhaps the final date for the, you know, uploading the data and like finishing the campaign, so that, you know, if someone wants the badge, we need to know at certain date that the data is uploaded. So perhaps if you could just say some.
Yes. We will send you the badges and the certificate in June. So please, the beginning of June would be the deadline, or like yeah, by the mid-June it's the deadline to send the data. If you do it later on, that's still perfect for sharing, but when it comes to receiving the badge and the certificate from us, it you know, it might be a little too late. But of course, if you want to enter the data in September because you haven't done so, just please feel free to do it even afterwards. Nothing happens.
And I have one more, but perhaps Lenka, you showed that the Padlet with the inspiration.
Oh, I didn't actually. Thank you, Bara, for reminding. Yeah.
So in the meanwhile, perhaps Mari, if you have a question, please go ahead.
Yeah, you see, and I think that also our result depend on our climatic zone, because, for example, now in Georgia, we have such kind of very different climate. 2 days ago at night was -8, and today was a +15 degree. It was awful, really, yeah. Yeah, and especially it's warmer in our climatic zone. We're in subtropical zone, but for example, the countries which is in, for example, temperate zone, maybe the result get a little bit later than even in such kind of climatic zones.
Yes,
see,
exactly.
I'm a geographer, and I think from my side, my point of view.
Yeah, it's really important. Yeah, it's that's what Lenka said. There are some kind of deadlines for the activities, but obviously, if you're from Estonia, your trees will definitely
Yeah.
start to be
1 month
green.
later.
Yeah, perhaps 1 month later than the trees in Israel or Croatia. So,
Okay,
and
that's
it's okay. It's okay, right?
And Mary, thank you for pointing it out, because it's a little complication on one hand. So you might receive the newsletter with the activity too early for you or a little late for you, because maybe your trees are, you know, already greening up. So please, if your trees are already changing, don't wait for the newsletter with next activity. You can always go to the website and find the next step, so you can do it. But yeah, and it's a complication, as I mentioned, but it's also a great opportunity, I think, this for like an inquiry for the students. So you can compare with other schools, with other places in Europe that perhaps the bud bursts happen in a very different time. So I think it's very interesting to do these comparisons. Yeah, and Bara, thank you for reminding the Padlet. So I will shortly share my screen again and show you a source of information for your activities. Yeah, maybe first
I will put the link to the chat too.
Yeah. When you come to the Phenology campaign website, which is this one, you will find there a tab called Get Inspired, and this brings you to a Padlet of a European Phenology campaign, which is basically a collection of activities, ideas, and inspiration from you, from teachers and students. It is divided into columns according to what type of resource it is. So we have many videos, different Padlets that schools use for the collaboration. So they add their, like in the collaboration group, schools add their results to let the other schools know. We have even book creators, presentation, some activities connected with carbon and so on. So always those which are green are related to the spring. Those which are orange are related to autumn, and white ones are kind of for both seasons. So you can scroll down and find there lots of inspiration. So.
And if you want to see anything that you do on this Padlet, you have to share it to Lenka, and she will be happy to add the, your video or your photo story or your data or your presentation about the students' research to this Padlet. So that's perhaps slightly different to some other Padlets that we used to have, like for the water bodies, for example, we had a Padlet where you could post yourself or the students could add the content. This one is more managed by Lenka, so that, the categories are followed and everything.
Yes, exactly like that. And we have the discussion forum where you can post yourself anything that you feel like sharing. Okay, so we have a few more minutes. So if there's any last question or two, comment. Okay, I don't see
one. Yes.
Yeah, I see Irena. Yeah.
Maybe sorry again. I want to just ask you if there is some regulation about the collaboration with other school, because we would like to collaborate with some school from the other side, from another country. Just if you have something for us how to do it, or
Yes. So there is this forum which we ask you to register for the campaign, right? I don't know if you've seen it, all of you. At the main page of the campaign website, you will find a button register, which will take you to a form where we ask you to let us know about yourself, that you would like to join the campaign. This is because we want to keep you informed during the campaign. And this form also includes the option, I want to sign up for the collaboration group. So if you want to join the collaboration group, please let us know through this form. Yes, we want to collaborate. And you can also fill there your preferences. So you can let us know, we want to cooperate with a school from Finland and Israel, for example, or we want to cooperate only with a high school, or the students should be this and this age. We will try to do our best to find such a school for you. We can't promise, because it depends who decides to join and how we manage to put the match the teams together. So, but we will do our best to reflect your wish. So this is the way. Or if you have already registered and you didn't like apply for joining the collaboration group, you can also send me an email. We can make it together. Basically, the collaboration groups are put together based on the age of the student. So we are always trying to find about the same age of students, so that it's more motivating for them to work together. And also we are trying to match schools with the same tree species, which are observing the same tree species. So it's easier to compare the data. So these are like basic rules for the
Perhaps we can make the voting, because I am sure that there are people who already have been in the campaign. Is there anybody who was collaborating with some other school? You can just put the heart or thumbs up. Is there someone? Do we have someone who
I am
collaborated?
Sabrina.
Yes,
I am Sabrina from Italy. We started to work with you in the autumn Phenology campaign, and in this spring we would like to collaborate. I already wrote the form for the registration form, so you can find our request to collaborate.
Mm-hmm. We will do so. We are now collecting the responses through the form, and after the 20th of February, when which is the registration deadline, we will start creating the group. So we will let you know. We will send you an email with information, and look forward to the collaborations. Really, it's really nice activity, I think. Well, so I think that's it for today. I really thank you for being here with us, for joining the webinar, and for all your questions. It's very important to ask and share. So as we heard already, perhaps the most questions will come when the activities will start. So don't hesitate to let us know what you need. Share the questions with us. We will be happy to help. And yeah, we really look forward to hearing from you during the campaign, how your activities are going, and to see your pictures at the discussion forum. So have a great winter and spring days, and enjoy visiting your tree.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Irena, thank you for the question. Yeah, especially in the registration form, I feel that it does not matter which school it will be, and it's up to you, Lenka. And I'm waiting for any school from any country, and will be very glad to collaborate with all Europe. It does not matter the school and the country.
Okay, great to know that. I hope it will be a really nice collaboration.
Okay, good luck, wish you.
Take care,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
Bye.